It's Friday, 21st of November, 2025. Welcome back to your news update on Blip Brief, crisp, but almost everything updated every weekday. All right, let's jump right in. The Indian equity markets yesterday were decidedly bullish.
Very bullish. We saw a strong upward surge across the indices. And the main catalyst seems to be this renewed confidence, this optimism that a big U.S. trade pact is right around the corner.
And that was enough to push the Nifty almost to its all-time record high. It's that close.
It's knocking on the door. But if you look a little deeper, the rally wasn't exactly broad-based. It was really led by one specific sector.
The IT sector, which is interesting because it's been underperforming for a while. So this is what analysts are calling a contra play, right?
Exactly. It's the classic contra play.
Mhm.
Investors are basically betting against the recent trend, rotating capital into a sector that's been sold off, banking on a big turnaround.
And you could see that conviction in the numbers. HCL Tech surged 4.32%.
Infosys wasn't far behind, up 3.74%. And even the heavyweight, TCS, climbed 1.99%. That's a powerful signal that high-risk money is expecting a major uptick in spending.
Speaking of TCS, they're not just waiting for the tide to lift them. They just finalized a massive deal.
A huge deal. A $2 billion joint venture with TPG to build out these gigawatt-scale AI-ready data centers here in India. The new entity is called Hypervolt.
$2 billion. That's more than just an investment. It's a huge strategic statement. What's making India so attractive for this kind of AI-ready infrastructure right now?
Well, TPG's executive chairman put it pretty bluntly. He called India the most undervalued data center opportunity globally.
Wow.
And it's not just about demand, it's about talent.
Yeah.
The engineering talent here, the ability to build that capacity fast, it's all aligned for this AI surge. And calling them AI-ready means they're building for massive GPU clusters from day one.
Right. They're trying to future-proof the whole thing.
Absolutely. But while some are spending aggressively, others are trying to shore up their foundations. IndusInd Bank, for instance, is looking to raise capital through a QIP.
A qualified institutional placement. So issuing shares directly to big institutional buyers. Why now?
Well, it's about stabilizing things. After some recent issues with Forex derivatives and some senior people leaving, they need what's being called confidence capital.
So it's a signal to the market that the big, sophisticated investors are still on board.
That's it, exactly. It's a perception play. But speaking of perception, not all news was positive. The Fujiyama Power Systems IPO, that didn't go so well.
No, it listed at a 3.5% discount to its issue price, which, in a market this hot, is a pretty sobering result. It shows investors are still being selective.
Very selective. They're clearly separating the big infrastructure plays from individual company risk.
Okay, let's shift from the stock market's optimism to the money markets, where the mood was, well, more complicated.
It was, yeah. We saw the Indian rupee dip by about 0.23% against the US dollar yesterday, and the cause was really external.
The strong dollar, I assume.
Precisely. The market is cooling on the idea of an imminent rate cut from the U.S. Fed. That higher for longer narrative makes the dollar more attractive, and you see that reflected in currencies like the rupee.
And in the debt market, there's a pretty significant warning sign flashing. We're talking about the yield gap between the 10-year and the 40-year government bonds.
Right. That gap, which is typically around 30 basis points, has just ballooned to over 80.
So what does that actually mean? Why is that gap so important?
It signals that the market sees much higher long-term risks, things like inflation or future government borrowing.
Yeah.
And that has very real consequences. For long-term investors, think insurance companies, pension funds, this is creating active losses in their portfolios. So now the market is essentially looking to the RBI to step in.
To intervene, maybe with open market operations, buy up those long-dated bonds to bring the yield down.
That's the hope. It's about managing the health of the curve. And speaking of health, the core economic numbers were not great. Core sector output growth for October was completely flat, 0%.
Zero. That's a 14-month low. What on earth dragged it down so much?
It was mainly contractions in two huge sectors, mining and electricity. When those foundational inputs shrink, it creates a serious headwind for the rest of the economy, no matter how positive the stock market feels.
A real disconnect between market sentiment and the on-the-ground reality.
A very clear one. But there was one piece of official optimism. The RBI governor expressed confidence that a good trade deal with the U.S. is likely.
Which would be critical. That
Yeah.
could help ease the pressure on India's current account deficit in a way that, nothing else really can.
Exactly. It's a structural fix.
Let's zoom out now to the global picture. Asian markets were mostly down yesterday, taking their cue from Wall Street.
Wall Street had a volatile day. It started with a rally, mostly thanks to NVIDIA.
Of course, the AI chicks, darling.
Right. But that early momentum just fizzled out. The big concern that keeps coming back is just valuation. Are these AI stocks priced for perfection and then some?
It's the multi-trillion-dollar question, isn't it? NVIDIA posts a fantastic forecast, which should calm fears about an AI bubble, but then investors immediately get anxious about the price again.
It's a constant tug of war. We're seeing a similar kind of dual narrative in the U.S. labor market.
Oh, this was interesting. Job growth actually beat expectations in September.
It did. But at the same time, the unemployment rate jumped to 4.4%, which is the highest it's been in 4 years.
How does that happen? More jobs, but also more unemployment.
It points to some pretty intense shifts under the surface. You're likely seeing layoffs in high-wage sectors like tech, while job growth continues in lower-wage service industries. So the headline number looks okay, but the quality of employment might be fragile.
A complex picture. Okay, what about commodities? Oil prices moved up.
They did. Brent crude futures were up about 0.7%. Part of that was a technical bounce from the equity rally, but the real support came from a bigger-than-expected draw in U.S. crude stockpiles.
So demand is holding up better than people thought.
It seems so. And finally, on the geopolitical front, a pretty significant defense development. Washington has cleared the delivery of some advanced munitions to India.
We're talking about the Excalibur precision-guided rounds and Javelin anti-tank missiles.
That's right. It's a sale worth over $92 million, and it was requested by New Delhi after Operation Sindoor. It's a clear move to modernize capabilities and deepen that strategic partnership.
And regionally, the Colombo Security Conclave is growing. Seychelles is now the 6th member.
Which is important. Adding a key island nation like Seychelles really strengthens the security architecture in the Indian Ocean, which is, of course, a vital strategic waterway.
From securing oceans to securing data, it's all moving so fast. But before we wrap up, let's talk about a breakthrough that could change how we get drinking water.
This is a fascinating one from MIT. The problem with getting water from the air has always been efficiency. You use absorbent materials to soak up moisture, but then you have to use a lot of heat and energy to get the water back out. It takes hours.
So the bottleneck isn't capturing the water, it's releasing it.
Exactly. So the MIT engineers tried something totally different. Instead of heat, they created an ultrasonic device. It uses high-frequency vibrations.
So it literally shakes the water out.
That's the perfect way to describe it. The vibrations shape the water molecules free from the absorbent material. They're using sound energy, not thermal energy.
And I'm guessing that's a lot faster and more efficient.
Transformatively so. It releases the trapped water in minutes, not hours. It's far more energy efficient and could offer a real low-energy solution for water scarcity, essentially turning humidity into drinking water with sound waves.
A literal shake-up in a vital technology. A fantastic place to leave it.
And just before you go, a quick note. This deep dive commentary is put together using advanced AI. We always strive for accuracy, but please do cross-verify any crucial information yourself. Your informed decisions are what matter most.